Hello there. Hi, Christine. Good evening. How are you? Hello, Denise. How are you? So what have you been crafting today, or oh, hi Connie. Connie says I'm excited to watch you make this card. Good. Do you have the Calming Camellia stamp set, Connie? Hey Lisa. You must be on your lunch. Are you working today? Lisa's on my team and she's also my neighbor. She lives just around the corner, but she's usually working, so. You on a lunch? Yes, she's on a lunch break. Good. So we'll just wait a few more seconds. Connie says she doesn't have the set, but she might improvise. Yeah, I'm sure there's something else you could find that you could do this technique with. Organizing your craft room, Denise. I wish you could come organize mine. I need the craft room fairies to come to my craft room. I always have so many projects that I'm working on that it's hard to take the time out to do any real organizing. I get kind of a little bit tidied up and then I start on something else and it gets messy again. Yes, I have not used this stamp set yet, so I'm excited to try it. And the technique I'm doing, actually, you may have seen other demonstrators doing this. It's not a new technique, and I've seen a few other people doing it with this stamp set because it lends itself so well to it, but I haven't actually done it, so I thought, well, I'm going to give it a try. But I do have some new little tips and techniques to show you too. So. But with that being said, let me switch you down and we will get started so that we don't dilly-dally too long. So this is the lovely Calming Camellia stamp set. I can hear the, I think it's a recycling truck going around, just going by. He's in the cul-de-sac across the street, so I hope it's not too noisy. But yeah, this is Calming Camellia. Now this is a Celebration stamp set, but it's the host set, so it's right at the back, and it is, you do have to have $300 in sales to get this set, which might seem a lot, but if you just gather a few friends together, and then don't forget, for every $50 you'll get to choose all these other lovely items, $50 or $100. So you do get those as well as this. So if you got a few friends together and they all placed $50 or $100 orders, they could get their free celebration items, and then you could get the Calming Camellia. You could get some free celebration items also, and then you could get the Calming Camellia set. So it's not really that hard to get to the $300 level. So you can see some of the beautiful cards that are in the celebration brochure. This one, they've actually stamped it on vellum, which is really pretty. And this one is actually using that set that I made the slimline cards with a few weeks ago now. So anyway, it's what's known as a distinctive set. So it almost looks like a layering stamp set. Almost looks like you've used more than one stamp, but it's very beautiful. So and it's a rubber stamp set. So let's get started. So I'm going to use my Stamparatus. So, oh, and let me show you the one that I made. And we're going to do a different color scheme. So this is the one that I made yesterday. And so here I've used white pigment ink to color in the flowers. And so you may have seen some other people doing it with this set, but I've done a little bit of stenciling. I've got a few other little things to show you. So, and I'm going to switch up the color. Now, I saw Kathleen, who often watches, I forget what her last name is, but she posted one. Thank you, Christine. She posted one, and she used, because I was thinking it's a bit dark, and I kind of like the monochromatic look, but she used this ribbon, so I'm thinking I might actually switch it out, but I was going to see what you think. So she used this ribbon instead of this. Soft succulent ribbon is very beautiful. It's like a satin. It's very pretty, but she used this ribbon, which is Evening Evergreen, which is what I used for the, so I don't know, what do you think? I kind of like the soft succulent. This kind of lightens it up a bit, but I think it kind of, the stripes kind of detract a little bit from the design. But I don't know, what do you think? I could switch it out. But anyway, we're going to do kind of purples today. I've seen lots of different colors used. So the colors that I'm using are Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape. So I'm going to do, this is Highland Heather here. And I've got my stamp already mounted, but I'm actually going to stamp in Gorgeous Grape. Connie says she likes the soft succulent ribbon best. Yeah, I think I do too. And I have a couple of options for this card, so we'll kind of see when we get to the end. So I'm going to ink up the stamp, and what's handy in the Stamparatus is to put another ink pad underneath, just like that, because then it levels this plate out. It's not on a... Lisa says satin ribbon is pretty ribbon with this stamp. Yeah, I think so. All right, so let's ink this up. So because I've got this on the Stamparatus, I'm taking my ink pad to the stamp, and I'm going to, is this Gorgeous Grape? Yeah. I'm going to ink this up, and I got to show you what this looks like. Look at that. I mean, I just want to stare at that. Not do any more. Isn't that beautiful? So pretty. So anyway, let me just make sure I've got everything, and I'll go ahead and stamp. Oh, I forgot to bring over my my friend Terry. Her husband made this little, you've seen other people, it looks like a little door handle or a hockey puck, and you can use it to, you know, to press down on your Stamparatus. So look at that, isn't that beautiful? It's beautiful just as it is, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the, I'm just going to take that off so it doesn't get in the way. But now what I'm going to do is some stenciling around the outside. So let me grab, so we've got this new set of, Stampin' Up calls them decorative masks, but they're really stencils. I always call them stencils. So this is the new pack, and they're very inexpensive. I think they're like $6 or $8. Now, there are these, they're called butterflies and flowers layering masks. So these actually layer together. Haven't used them yet, but I'll need to do that on another Facebook Live sometimes, and then you can layer these. So there's 3 sheets that are layering. I think these flowers layer with some of these little ones, like this one, maybe layers. Anyway, you get the idea. But there's also a couple of other, actually there's 3 other designs in here. There's this one, and there's this one, and then there's this one. This is the one that I'm going to use, although maybe I should switch things up and use this one. Although I think my one's like a little busy. I think I'll stick to this one. This is what I used on the other card. So these are called the butterflies and flowers layering masks. So now I wanted to mask the flower off, but I didn't feel like stamping and cutting another flower to mask. So I had this brilliant idea. I thought it was brilliant. Anyway, what I thought I would do, let me just close up my Gorgeous Grape ink so I don't make a mess. What I thought I would do was, when you get these stamps, there's a piece on the back of them that pulls off, right? Let me show you on one of them. See, it's this piece. So I'd already thrown this in the garbage, but I fished it out, And what I thought I would do was I would put it over here like this. Now, it's a very slick surface, so I wasn't sure if I could get it to stick with some removable adhesive, but I tried it and it actually works. So I've got this, Stampin' Up doesn't sell this. This is just a Tombow removable adhesive, but so you just need something that's removable. You could try without adhesive and just use the stencil to hold it down. But this is just for extra precaution to keep it still. So I found that if I put some of this on the back, Denise says, brilliant. I thought so. Now, this would not work if you wanted a really precise mask, but if you see on the card, I just wanted to go, I've kind of left a border anyway. I didn't want the stenciling to go right up to the flower. I just wanted a really soft border, so it works perfect for that. If you wanted like a really perfect mask to go right around the edge, you would need to, you know, stamp and cut another image, but this just kind of fits over the top like that. Then we'll take the mask and put this over. And you can see I'm doing this all in my Stamparatus, but you could do it on your grid paper if you like, but it's just convenient. Doesn't really matter which way up. Do make sure that you clean, like I had Evening Evergreen on here. Just put the magnet on there to keep it down. And then I'm going to use some tape. Yeah, do make sure you clean, because I had green on here. I had soft succulent, sorry. But you don't want to transfer the green, you know, from the stencil onto here. So do make sure you clean if you're the stencil. And it's very easy. I just ran it under the tap. And because they're water-based inks, it just came off really easily. And then I dried it with a towel. So I'm going to take some little pieces of this purple tape, but you can use washi tape, masking tape, you know, painter's tape, something that's kind of low tech. And I'm just doing the top and the bottom. I don't really have room to do the sides because I don't want to get it on the cardstock. I just want to be able to sponge. Although I am going to die cut this, so it wouldn't really matter. But anyway, I'm just going to do the top and the bottom. Then I'm going to grab my Highland Heather ink, which is right here, and my blending brush. And I just keep one blending brush for each color family. So I've got a purple. I'll just make sure, I think I'm good. So then you're just going to, let's do this over here so that you can see. Ink that up a little bit, and then I'm going to tap off a little bit, and then I'm just going to go really gently. I want a pretty subtle kind of stencil. And that's why I'm using the same color as the cardstock. So this is Highland Heather cardstock, and then I'm using Highland Heather ink. So I'm just going all the way around. And then I am going to take a little peek. So I'm just going to take this tape off, and I just kind of peek to see. And that's actually, I need a little bit more on the sides. But I'm thinking actually with this magnet in the middle, you probably don't even need to put adhesive on this masking piece. I didn't think to put the magnet on here yesterday, but that's another brilliant idea, right? So I don't think you really need adhesive if you do the magnet. And that's another reason to use the Stamparatus, because it will hold it still. So just do the sides a little bit more. So let's just take another peek and see if we're good. I think I still need a little bit more on the sides. I don't want to push too firmly because I want it subtle. Need a bit more around here. Alright, let's just look under this end. I do just a little bit more. I think I'm just going to do a little bit more all over because I want it subtle, but I do want it to show. Oops, I think I moved it. Right. Oh, that's fine. I didn't put my tape back properly. Right, so that's that. And then I can just peel it. So it's, you see it's fairly subtle. And it's kind of a little bit more random, which I actually like. And then what's nice is that the adhesive stays on the back of here, so then you can just kind of like rub it off with your, because it does have some ink on it, so you can just rub it off with your fingers. And then I'll put it back in my stamp case because I might use that again. Now before we do the white pigment ink, it's quite important to do things in the right order unless you want to wait for a long time in between steps. So what I'm going to do next before doing the white pigment ink is I'm going to die cut this, because once you do the white pigment ink it takes a while to dry and I don't want to have to run it through the die cut machine when it's wet. So I'm going to die cut it quickly. And I'm going to use the dies that I use were these dies, the Ornate Layers dies, and you get a lot of dies in this set and they're really beautiful. I actually don't use them that often because they're pretty ornate, as the name says, and this is not usually my style. I'm usually a little bit more clean and simple. Well, I don't know about simple, but clean. But anyway, I thought this one would be really pretty with the flower. So let me die cut that. Let me bring on my die cut machine. Oh, you're not going to be able to see that. Great, but let's grab on my sandwich. So I've got my 2 base plates, and then I've got a clear plate, number 2. I'll put this on. Like this. I can use some tape if necessary, but I think that's good. So I started out with a 5.5 by 4 1/4. Oh goodness, piece of cardstock. I am going to come back again. Just, oh dear, my dog heard that and started barking. Yeah, I did run it forward and back just because it is kind of an intricate die, and I want to make sure that it cuts properly. And then I've got, what's useful with these intricate dies is if you have one of these little brushes. I'll leave this on here. And then you take one of these little brushes, which actually you can, this is my take your pick tool, and you can buy this little brush to go on the end. And then you're just gonna brush all over here. And it helps get all those little pieces out. And if there's any left, once you've done that, we can just, sometimes if you give it a flick, it'll help. Or else you just poke them out with the other end of the tool. Oops, crash. So I can use the other end. Sometimes if you kind of give them a flick like that. Otherwise you can just take your pick tool and kind of pop them out. A few more up here. So I've cut off a little bit of the stenciling, but you can still see it. I think it's pretty. All right. My my friend, one of my friends who's a demonstrator, Kathy, she calls these hanging chads. Do you remember the election a number of years ago in Florida? They had the hanging chads on the ballots. They had to go recount everything. Do you remember that? So she calls them hanging chads. All right, I'll brush those little bits. I have to come back with my vacuum later and get all those little pieces off the floor. All right, so now let me bring back my apparatus, and I'm just going to grab my white pigment ink. And now there's a number of ways that you can apply this. I'm actually going to use a block, and I'm just going to kind of smush it onto the, let's see, my blocks, where are they? Oh, here. So I'm going to take one of my acrylic blocks and I'm just going to kind of smush it onto the white ink pad and then turn it over. Now you can, I saw a lady, there's another demonstrator, Mary Dietheridge, I think her name is. What she did also was she took her refill bottle. When you buy this white pigment ink, it comes uninked, and you get the ink pad and you get the refill, and you pour the ink on yourself. And so you got this little refill bottle, and it's very, very thick, but she put a glob of the actual ink on there too. So I thought I would try that and to really highlight some areas. But yesterday when I was making that soft succulent one, I just did the smushing. And then you need a blender pen, or you can use an aqua painter, but it will dilute it a little bit more. But this is a blender pen, and you can use both ends. They come in a pack of 3, I think. And they have, apparently it's glycerin in here, so it's really good for, you can lay down like some of our regular, if you stamp something, you can use the blender pen to blend out the colors. So you're just going to, I'm going to put this over here, I think. You're just going to pick up some of the white pigment ink, and I'm just going to do the flowers, and then you're just going to start coloring in the flowers. And it's quite, if you have trouble seeing, you know, what because it is that kind of distinctive look to it, you can put the stamp set beside you, the image, and then you can kind of see what's flowers and what's leaves, so that you don't end up coloring the leaves. Now, I'm not going to be too terribly careful. I am going to try and stay within the let's maybe get some of that, mix that in. I'm going to try and stay within the lines, but I'm not worrying about covering up the kind of veins of the petals, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the image again once I've colored it all. And that way it'll put back in those little veins that are on the petals. Now this will dry a little bit lighter, so you can go back in again. I'm just kind of mixing in actually that extra that I put from the bottle. And if you run out of ink, you just put your acrylic block back on the ink pad and just kind of smush it again. So I'm just going to go all over, and like I say, I'm not worrying about being too terribly careful. I'm going to try and just get the, no, is that? Yeah, that's the flower. I'm just going to try and get the flowers and not the leaves. And then over here. It's I don't know if my hand's in the way, sorry if you can see this okay. And then this one right here. And then with the blender pen at the end, you just want to kind of scribble really well on some scrap paper until you get the white off the end. But I'll probably just keep this blender pen actually just for using with the white pigment ink. Let's see what happens. That's a leaf, so I need to go around that. All right, so it looks a little bit messy at the moment. Maybe go back in on this part just a little bit. And there's some little areas that we can, I think this is the edge of the flower right here. And again here. I'll just colour in the middle part because I say I'm going to stamp again. So that's what it looks like at the moment. Did I get all the flower? Now is this, I think that's leaf down there. Right, so I think that's good. And like I say, it looks a little bit messy, but I'm going to put it back. I'm going to bring back my stamp. Oh, you know what I need my, yesterday I did this differently. So this may not work because yesterday I did the die cutting afterwards and I didn't think about the fact that my this is going to be different. So what I'm going to try and do here. So yeah, so you have to plan this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back here. Let's take off these little pieces. Yeah, so yesterday what I did was I did all this first and then I die cut, but I had to use my heat tool and then kind of wait for ages for it to dry. But I didn't think about the fact that if I die cut it first, then I might not be, you know, I have to line this up, so I'm going to put it back in frame. So let's see if this works. So you may not want to do it this order. You might want to do your die cutting at the end and just plan on waiting a while for your white pigment ink to dry. So I think I have that. So let's see. I might really mess this up, but let's see. So I'm going to grab this back. Say a prayer. Let's put my white pigment ink away. Shall we have me down in the bottom? Here we go. Hello. Let's see here. All right, so now I'm going to ink it up again with the gorgeous grape. Uh-oh. Somebody at the door. Oh, dear, dear. Sorry, there's not really much I can do. She's... Here goes. Oh yeah, that's perfect, I think. So what Stampin' It again did is it just put all those little veins in the petals back in, and it darkened up the whole image, which I think is pretty. And you can still see the little stencil part too. So now let's assemble. So I have, I'll close up my other ink. So let's grab the rest of my, now on the other card I didn't do the insides, but I thought we might do the inside this time. So now here's the thing with this die. I think this was probably designed for I think it's an A4 card, which is a European size, because look, it doesn't center properly. And you see, you've got a wider gap on, which kind of bothered me. But then I thought, well, if I put ribbon down the side, it'll look fine. There's my other card. So see, on this one I kind of put it over to the right, and then by the time you get the ribbon on, it doesn't really show that it's not centered. So I'm just going to do that. So I'm going to use some dimensionals, and I'm going to actually put the dimensionals on here because don't forget this is wet. So I'm just going to put some dimensionals onto, let's see, let's decide which side is best. So I'm just going to put some, make sure those aren't going to show. That's going to be all right. Maybe a couple in the middle. So again, you have to kind of be careful because the pink pigment ink stays wet for a while. Come on. These little adhesive backings I have, they were stuck to my Uggs this morning. I looked down, I was brushing my teeth and I looked down and I had two of the little, these little dimensional backings on my Uggs, my slippers. All right, so then let's put this on. I'm gonna have to stand up here. To get this straight. Okay, now the sentiment I actually already did just to save time a little bit. So I used this sentiment, you're in my thoughts. It has nice sentiments. You're in my thoughts, happy birthday, lovely you make me smile. It's the little things that make life great. I love being your friend. I kind of like this one because you could put then, like I could put you're in my thoughts on the front and then I could put happy birthday inside, or you know, I love being your friend inside. So I like you're in my thoughts. It could be, or you could, you know, it could be a sympathy card. So what I did was I heat embossed with white embossing powder on Gorgeous Grape. So I will stick this on and I'm going to use dimensionals for that also. And before I do that, actually, I'm going to, let's see, purple, says Cindy. Hi, Cindy. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my splatters. So if you noticed, my other card had splatters. So what I'm going to do, and again, I did this earlier in the process yesterday, but then assembling was tricky because I had all my splatters everywhere and I couldn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that mask and I'm going to put it really gently over here again. Just going to set it like that. And I'm going to bring back my white and I'm going to, let's see, what can I use? Do I have a scrap of paper? Okay, so I'm going to put this here because I don't want to get too many. And then I've got an aqua painter and I'm going to, so this is like a paintbrush. These come in a set of 3. I think this is the finer one and it's got water in the barrel. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dilute my white just a little bit. And then I'm actually going to use my blending brush and I'm just going to tap. Ooh, that was a big one. Get some splatters. A little bit more. And you don't, if this is scary, I know this is scary to some people, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. I like splatters. There we go, that'll do. Got one big one there, but that's fine. And then I'll lift this off carefully. Alright, so I think now I can put the sentiment on. And if you don't mind splatters on your sentiment, you can obviously do that first. Let's see, I need to zoom in a little bit. Can you guys see? There we go. Pretty colour, huh? Shall we get it straight? Okay, so then some ribbon. Now, my choices for ribbon, I have this Highland Heather. I have, I had some gorgeous grape. Where did it go? That's interesting. Had some gorgeous grape too, but now I don't see it. But I also, so there's a demonstrator, Kathy Freeman, that did this technique, and she did something fun with the white ribbon. So I think I'm going to try that, and if we don't like it, we'll use this Highland Heather. So what she did is let's figure out how much we need, and I think because it's narrow, I think I'll wrap it around twice. So and then leave enough for a knot. So I'm going to wrap it around twice. Try not to mess up my splatters. So, sparkly Highland Heather. Well, we'll see. I'm going to try this, and if you don't like this, we'll do the sparkly Highland Heather. I had gorgeous grape too. I don't know what I did with that. How weird. Things disappear around here, I swear. So, what she did was she took this big stamp, and I'm going to take it off here. Let's move this out of the way so I don't mess it up. I'll take it and put it on a regular block. I need a big block for this stamp. And then what she did, she kind of smushed it all up. Take this like this into kind of a little, and then she stamped on it. She didn't even re-ink her stamp, and you get kind of this really pretty. So Kathy Freeman was the one I saw doing this. You can do as much or as little, but that's kind of pretty, isn't it? So let's see what that would look like, and you can let me know which you prefer. So, do you think this one, and wrapped around twice? I don't know if you can see that. Hold it up. Wrapped around twice. Or do you like sparkly Highland Heather? Let me know what you think. I don't know what happened to the gorgeous grape. It's disappeared. It's vanished. Completely vanished. So, and while you're deciding, let's put on some bling. So I'm going to use the In Colour Jewels. So now this colour here is Fresh Freesia. Hi Mary, how are you? The white ribbon. Denise says sparkly. Oh dear. And Lisa had said sparkly, but that was before she saw my white. Yeah, on the soft succulent card, I used the evergreen, evening evergreen gems. Yes, you can colour, Christine says the white. Yes, Lisa. Let me put that. Lisa says, or colour the white with pens. You can colour the white with pens. You can use blends. But I kind of liked how she did it to get this just kind of, it's almost like a tie-dye or a variegated look. So I'll let a few more people chime in. So anyway, these are Fresh Freesia. These are the in colours. So we've got soft succulent, Fresh Freesia, evening evergreen, pale papaya, and polished pink. But I think the Fresh Freesia will look nice on here. So let's see. Where's my take your pick? Oh, my take your pick had the other end on, so I'll just use my scissors for right now. Connie says she likes the white. Yeah, I think I might try the white. All right, so let's put some of these on. Being careful not to touch my splatters. Oh, and I got to do the inside also. And then I'll put another of the bigger ones down here. And let's see if I can do the ribbon without messing up. So you want to do a side fold card, otherwise you won't be able to tie your ribbon like this. So I'll leave enough here. I'm going to go around one more time, carefully. Maybe if I open this all the way, it'll be easier, huh? I want to make sure I'm not kind of twisted inside. All right. I'll just tie this in a knot. You could tie a bow too, but I think I'm just going to do a knot today. Do it a bit higher. You can usually kind of jiggle the ribbon around to the right position like this, but I'll try and get the knot pretty much where I want it. Maybe a bow would have been nice, but anyway, that's fine. You can kind of spread out the, trying to see if I could spread out the two layers, but anyway, I think that's pretty. It's nice and kind of soft, isn't it? So let's do the inside. So I've got a piece of white, basic white. Bring back this in. Although I'm not going to use it to do the stamping, I just want to put it here because I don't have anything on my desk and I'm going to probably go off the edge. So let's use, very pretty, says Denise, thank you. So there's another stamp in the set that I'm going to stamp on the inside, and I'm going to use Highland Heather instead of Gorgeous Grape because I want it a little bit softer, I think. So let's see, where shall I stamp it? Kind of like that maybe, or like this, maybe like that. Let's give it a try. I think maybe my Highland Heather needs re-inking. I don't know how dark this is gonna. Let's try it on the. Oh yeah, that's pretty. Seemed like it wasn't really inking up. But let's give it a try. So I don't know. Let's maybe try it like this. Oh, that's pretty. And maybe another one. Maybe another one like this. And I'm not going to do a greeting for right now, though I could do happy birthday. I think I'll leave it because, like I say, that you're in my thoughts on the front. Oh, let's do something on the envelope too. That kind of means that I can put whatever I like on the inside. And I have somebody that just had surgery that I might send it to, actually, friend. And I can put a note inside. So let's do the envelope like like that too. That's pretty. I can still write the name and address. Okay, so Oops, now I just put the inside on top of my card, so I hope I haven't, oh no, it's fine. So let's put this inside, got my adhesive. This inside carefully, again without, oops. It's a little tricky. You can maybe do the inside first before you stick the front on. But there we go. There's the pretty envelope. So what do you think? Pretty. Let's bring back the soft succulent one too. Which one do you like best? Purple or green? What do you think? Are you going to try this technique? So you get your pigment, white pigment ink and your blending brush, and you'll be good to go. So I don't know if you can see, but this is still wet. It's a little, and the little splodges are definitely still wet, so it splatters. So purple, says Mary. So be sure to, hi Terry, purple seems to be, oh, Christine says, but so you can see as it dries, it'll be a little bit paler, but set it aside and don't touch it for a few hours because it does take much longer to dry. So anyway, that's the card for today. I hope you liked it, and like I say, you can get it free with a $300 order, Calming Camellia. So have a great rest of the day. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you're watching the replay later, thank you for watching. And as always, my website and my host code are up above, so you can go get there to place your order. And thanks again. It was great to hang out with you all. I will have a good, oh, let's see. What does Lisa say? How long does the white ink take to dry? Yeah, I would say a few hours, Lisa. But yeah, so just set it aside. So anyway, thanks everyone. I will see you all next week. Bye. Have a great rest of the week.